Thank you very much. The House will come to order. Please join Representative Basenicker in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Mr. Shi will please call the roll.
Representatives Amabile. Representative Amabile? No. Is excused. Bacon. Baisley. Benavides. Representative Benavides is excused. Burnett. Byrd. Bockenfeld. Basenecker. Bradfield. Yep. Caravale.
Here.
Carver. Catlin. Cutter. Doherty. Duran. Esgar.
Here.
Exum. Froelich. Geithner. Gonzalez Gutierrez. Gray. Hanks. Harrod. Holtorf. Representative Holtorf is excused. Hooton.
Here.
Judah. Kennedy. Kipp. Larson. Lindsay. Lontine. Luck. Lynch. McCluskey. McCormick. McKean. McLaughlin is excused. Michelson Janae. Mullica. Neville.
Here.
Ortiz.
Here.
Pelton. Pico. Ransom. Rich. Ricks. Representative Ricks is excused. Roberts. Sandridge.
Here.
Sirota. Snyder. Soper. Sullivan. Tipper. Titone. Valdez A. Valdez D. Van Beber. Van Winkle. Weissman. Will. Williams.
Here.
Woodrow. He's here. Okay. Woog. Young. Mr. Speaker. Benavides came in.
With 61 present, 4 excused, we have a quorum. Representative Basenecker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the Journal of Friday, April 8th, 2022 be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
Members, you have heard the motion that the journal be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. No! The ayes have it. The motion is approved. Assistant Majority Leader Gonzalez Gutierrez and Representative Catlin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have a tribute that we would like read at length this morning.
Members, we have a tribute. Can you please direct your attention to the well? Mr. Shea will please read the tribute.
State of Colorado, the Senate and House of Representatives convened in the 73rd General Assembly hereby extend sincere commendations to the Southern Ute Indian Tribe, the Ute Indian Tribe, and the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. We are proud to recognize the state of Colorado's two resident tribes, the Southern Ute Indian Tribe of Ignacio and the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe of Toyac, as well as their sister tribe, the Ute Indian Tribe of Fort Duchesne, Utah. The three Ute nations, currently made up of 7 bands, the Caputa, Mawachi, Uncompahgre, Uinta, Weemanooch, White River, and Yampa, have played a unique and distinguished role in our state's heritage and culture since time immemorial. The contributions of the Ute Nation to government, medicine, education, religion, the environment, economy, and military in our state constitute an ongoing vital force shaping the Colorado we know today. The members of the Colorado General Assembly remain committed to maintaining strong, respectful relationships between our state government and the sovereign tribal nations with whom we share this state. On request of Representatives Barbara McLaughlin and Mark Catlin and Senators Don Coram and Cleve Simpson, given this 11th day of April 2022, State Capitol, Denver, Colorado, signed Stephen Fenberg, President of the Senate, and Alec Garnett, Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Representative Catlin or Assistant Majority Leader Gonzalez Gutierrez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And members, please feel free to be seated. We are here in honor of Ute Day at the Capitol. And as you can tell, I'm not Representative Barbara McLaughlin. And unfortunately, Representative McLaughlin had a family emergency to tend to. And so I am here really just standing in her place. And she wanted to make sure to let folks know that she is incredibly proud to represent one of the 2 federally recognized tribes in Colorado. They add so much to our community: culture, compassion, love of our earth, and so many kind and hardworking people. And she is truly honored to have you here today. Members, Ute Day is our annual tribute and recognition of our First Nation tribes in the Colorado region. This is the opportunity to learn more about the Colorado Commission of Indian Affairs engagement with the Southern Ute Indian Tribe and Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. I'll just give a brief overview of the Colorado Commission of Indian Affairs from their director, Catherine Redhorse. Our office serves as the official liaison between the state of Colorado and the Southern Ute Indian Tribe and the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. The relationship between the state of Colorado and sovereign tribal governments is founded on a strong government-to-government relationship. The commission ensures direct contact and meaningful engagement with the tribes and with Colorado's urban Indian communities. So today and every day, we remember to honor the government-to-government relationships between the tribes and the state.
Representative Catlin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
Honor to serve with you too, Representative Catlin.
Thank you very much, sir. Today, I thought the state of Colorado should take a few moments to recognize our longest continuous residents in the state of Colorado, the Southern Ute Indian Tribe of Ignacio and the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe of Towaoc. These folks have been here since Colorado was before Colorado. They've taken good care of the land, they've taken care of the sky, they've taken care of the people. We could learn things from the Ute nations. They have a special bond to the place they call home. They've had a unique role and distinguished role in our nation's history and culture through vital contributions to government, medicine, education, religion, architecture, environment, and the military. The state of Colorado recognizes the key role to the history of this state that the Ute nations have provided and continue to provide. The state of Colorado wants to honor the contributions and sovereignty of both the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe and the Southern Ute Indian Tribe, and encourages all Coloradoans to actively seek knowledge about the history and heritage of the Ute people in this state, past, present, and future. It's a special day in the state of Colorado, and I hope that the Ute nations realize that believe that this is a very special day. With that, I'd like to introduce the guests that have come from the nation. I'd like to introduce Chairman Manuel Hart of the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe, Treasurer Alston Turtle, Councilman Lindreth Wall, Councilman Darwin Whiteman Jr., Councilman Malcolm Lehigh. I'd also like to introduce the Tribal Secretary, Marilyn House. And we also have some very special guests here today, and that's the Ute Mountain Tribal Royalty. Leland Collins Jr. and Peyton Collins. Please welcome them to the chamber.
Assistant Majority Leader Gonzalez Gutierrez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, we also have representatives from the Ute Indian tribe that I would like to recognize as well today. And if you would please stand, we have Vice Chairman Edred Seikakuku. We have Councilman Julius Murray. And also, who is not able to join us today, but I want to recognize Councilman Luke Duncan. I also would like to ask our spiritual leader, Terry Knight Sr., who provided the blessing today, to all stand and be recognized, and everyone that has come with, also with the Ute Indian tribe, to please stand so that you can be honored and recognized.
You guys want to talk? Yeah.
Okay.
Assistant Majority Leader Gonzalez Gutierrez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I do want to sincerely thank some of the folks that have traveled here from Utah, and those folks that were pushed off of their land here in Colorado. And I think a couple of years ago when this was done, and we haven't been able to do this in a few years, just wanted to recognize that fact and thank them for their travels to be here with us today for us to honor them. With that, I would like to ask for a brief recess so that members of the chamber could greet the guests.
A brief recess is granted. The House will be in a brief recess. Okay. The House will slowly come back to order. Members, the next order, I guess we're still in announcements and introductions. Yep, Representative Beasley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to recognize and welcome Charis Bible College students that are visiting from Woodland Park, Colorado, within my district in Teller County. If y'all would welcome Charis Bible College students up in the gallery. Thank you.
Representative Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of State Civic, Military, and Veterans Affairs, we do not have a meeting today. There was a bill that was originally on the calendar that has been rescheduled for another day, so you have an afternoon off.
Further announcements and introductions, Representative Byrd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, if it is Monday, it is Finance, of course. We are meeting today at 1:30, and we'll be hearing three bills. The first is House Bill 1233. The second, House Bill 1246, and we will finish the day off with Senate Bill 36. See you there.
Representative Herod.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the Appropriations Committee, we will be meeting tomorrow morning at 8:30. We will be meeting on House Bill 1120, 1243, 1282, 1316. If those are your bills, be sure to be there and be ready with your jokes. Thank you. Except for maybe Representative McCormick.
Representative McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Agriculture, Livestock, and Water Committee will be meeting today at 1:30 to hear two Senate bills. We'll see you in room 107.
Representative D. Valdez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, tomorrow, I'm pleased to announce that tomorrow, April 12th, is Colorado Golf Day here at the Capitol, and the event will happen down at the West Foyer at 7:30 a.m. So I hope to see you there. Come on out and grab some breakfast and also some swag. Thank you.
Seeing no further announcements or introductions, the next order of business is consideration of memorial. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Memorial 1001.
House Memorial 1001 by Representative Ransom, memorializing former Representative Joe Nunez.
Representative Ransom.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the adoption of House Memorial 1001 and request that it be read at length.
Mr. Schiebel.
Whereas our respected former colleague Joe Nunez, a past member of the Colorado General Assembly, departed this life on November 16th, 2020. And whereas Representative Nunez was born April 5th, 1937 in Greeley, Colorado, to Manuela Nunez and Concepcion Lopez. And whereas Representative Nunez was a Vietnam veteran who served our nation in the United States Air Force and retired at the rank of Lieutenant Colonel from his last duty assignment at F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And whereas Representative Nunez received the Bronze Star, the Meritorious Service Medal with 1 oak leaf cluster, the Republic of Vietnam Campaign Medal, and the Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross with palm. And whereas in 1998, Representative Nunez ran for and was elected to the Colorado House of Representatives for House District 64, and in 2000 he ran again and was reelected. And whereas during his 3 years serving as a member of the House of Representatives, Representative Nunez served on the Transportation and Energy, Appropriations, and Education Committees, and is vice chair for the State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee. And whereas Representative Nunez also served as the representative for Secretary of the United States Department of Labor for the Rocky Mountain region, and as the regional director for the United States Department of Health and Human Services. And whereas Representative Nunez was preceded in death by his wife of 59 years, Lily Yanis Nunez, on November 10th, 2020, and is survived by his 4 children, John Michael Nunez, Daniel Nunez, Teresa Curtis, and Lily Nunez Mue, 10 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. And whereas Representative Nunez was a devoted public servant who will be remembered for his hard work and dedication, service, and accomplishments. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 73rd General Assembly of the State of Colorado that in the death of Joe Nunez, the people of the State of Colorado have lost a dedicated public servant and an outstanding citizen, and that we, the members of the Colorado House of Representatives, do hereby extend our deep and heartfelt sympathy to the members of his family and pay tribute to a man who served his state well and faithfully.
Representative Ransom.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, if you'd like to be seated, that will be fine. Clearly, you can see the pictures. Joe Nunez was kind of the grandpa of Douglas County. I've known him for, well over 30 years, and it's been so much, just convolution of being happy that he lived and sad that he died. So I guess that somebody said that when, was it Patton that died? He goes, I am so sad that Joe Nunez died, but I'm so happy that he lived. And those of you that sometimes think I vote no a lot, I learned a lot of my votes from Joe Nunez, and I will have to give him credit for a lot of the principles that I have now, I learned from him. And he and his wife Lily, as you heard in the tribute, in the memorial, died just in the same month, 2 weeks apart. And I cannot begin to imagine what the family had to go through when in 1 month, in the month of November, they lost both their mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, and then great-grandparents as well. So you'll hear from them, hear about them in a few minutes. But what I did want to mention is that Joe served Douglas County with honor. He was principled, but he was kind, but a little bit stubborn for those of you that knew him, but he was also so strong. He came alongside me more than once when I had things happen in my family. He and Lily were just adorable people. I can remember Lily asking me how my babies were doing, even when my baby was like 10, and then the girls were teenagers. How are your babies doing? And she always wanted to know. And but Joe and Lily were just amazing people, and we really will miss them in Douglas County. We already do, as you know, as you could tell, they did die a while back here, but I am so grateful for all of you, for your attention. One little tiny story. I think you all know that I homeschooled my kids, and those of you that homeschool know that the homeschool mom's respite is a field trip. So I was trying to figure out which year it was. I think it was 1999 that I brought my kids on a field trip, and we were sitting in that corner up there. We had just been looking at what some of you know that I love the history of this building. You used to get up to the dome by going around in a circular staircase up to the ceiling, and it was very non-ADA compliant because you had to climb these very narrow stairs on a circular staircase. But it was so scary to get up there, especially with little kids. But anyway, right around that time, I had sat in that corner, and then Joe was down here talking to some of his colleagues at the time, and he saw me coming in with the kids. I had a little guy, a baby on my arm, on my hip, and then, the little girls, and we were all holding hands and trying to walk in and get seated so I could have them watch what was happening in the House of Representatives. Of course, at that time, I had zero thought, zero intent, zero plan to ever be here serving in this body and definitely not speaking at this well. But I was, busy trying to get my kids educated. And he was down here speaking, and back then, just so you know, the body was kind of like it is now. It was always really quiet. Even during second readings, there would be a little bit of talking, no laughing, but every once in a while, a little bit of quiet talking along the edge. It was very circumspect, very kind of like a courtroom. It was so quiet in this building. But he looked up and saw me up there trying to sit down and get my kids settled, and he beckoned me down. So he was maybe 3 rows back. I don't know where his seat was because he was talking to people, but he beckoned me down, so I brought the kids down, and we sat along those seats and got to watch the proceedings close up. And at one point, there was a break, and he came and sat by me, and he was telling me kind of what they were planning on doing and, what bills they were hearing that day. And he goes, and next week, I think we'll get the long bill here. And at the time, the long bill, of course, the long bill then was much shorter than it is now. It was very small, but it was still called the long bill. And little did I know that a few years later, I'd actually be working on the long bill, and that was something that we never, ever suspected or thought. But he was talking to me about the budget and about the ideas and about the long bill. And anyway, he will be greatly missed. I do want to let you guys know he only served here 3 years, and then he went on to the federal government, but he is still missed in Douglas County. You can see his pictures on some of the basement walls, on some of the portraits down there of prior years, because he served. He was elected twice, so served the 2 terms, but then left during his second term to go work in the federal government. So anyway, with that, I do want to miss him. Again, I extend my biggest sympathies to the family, condolences, but there's a lot of people in Douglas County that miss him too. And again, he's one of those grandpa advisors. It would be so nice to be able to ask him questions sometimes now. I sometimes wish that I could ask him for advice on some of the things that are happening, not just here in this body, but in the world. He has done so much for the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Ransom. And under Rule 20... Oh yeah, do any other current members would like to speak on this memorial? See none. Representative Ransom.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Clearly, he served a long time ago. If he had served a few years ago, we would have had a lot of people stand up that would remember him. However, Mr. Speaker, I do request under Rule 26F, I request a recess to allow former members to speak.
The House will be in recess. I see 2 former representatives here. Representative Ted Harvey, would you like to come down and speak?
Sorry about that. Good morning, everybody. God bless you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm honored to be able to come up here and say a few words about Joe. I was very close to Joe and Lily Nunez. They were 2 of my mentors in politics. I wouldn't have made it into the House without their support, and wouldn't have made it into the Senate without their support and guidance. I want to recognize the family and give my condolences to the family. I consider myself one of their siblings because Joe and Lily called me their adopted son, And that's the way I looked at them, as my parents, because they were so close. They were amazing, amazing Americans. They gave everything that they had to this country. Joe served in the military for an entire career. He then served in the federal government for an entire career, and he served in this House for 3 years. There is nobody that gave more to this country than Joe and Lily. Lily also worked in the federal government for many years as well. I was working for Congressman Heffley in 2001, when Joe decided he wanted to try to get on with the Bush administration, the W administration, and my congressional district, the congressman's district, came all the way up to Douglas County at that time, from Colorado Springs to Douglas County. And so I helped Joe get his paperwork through the process to get that appointment. And so I was one of the first people to know that he got the appointment. And I just happened to be the chair of the House district when he got the appointment. And I jumped in and was able to fill that vacancy when he stepped aside. I had a little bit of a head start because of my insider information. But Joe was an incredible guy, and he helped me every step of the way. And my wife and I did consider them to be adopted parents. It was unbelievable the day that I heard that both Lily and Joe passed away within a few days, a week of each other from COVID. I mean, who would have ever imagined that we would have been in that situation? And I will ever be indebted to the Nunezes for their love and their support and their guidance to get me where I have been in politics, and I will always remember them. And God bless you guys. We'll always be siblings together. Thank you for this time. God bless you, Joe. God bless you, Lily.
Thank you, Representative Harvey. Representative Holbert. Now Minority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honor to serve with you.
Honor to serve with you too.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 12. And we urge you, brethren, recognize those who labor among you, who are over you in the Lord, and who admonish you, and to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake. I am blessed that Representative and Senator Harvey in my life have been one of those people who have been over me in the Lord and who have admonished me, not scolding, but offering advice, lessons learned. Joe Nunez and Lily Nunez were two of the others who in my life I count as being over me in the Lord and who have blessed me with their admonishment, their encouragement, their direction, their advice. Joe and Lily were always together, at least in my experience. I've known them since about 2002, 2003. And they were literally always together. And they were always smiling. They loved each other so much. I try to use that as an example in my own marriage, to never let a moment go by when I'm with my wife to not try to make the best of it. And Joe and Lily are a big reason why. I was in the lobby in 2002. I wore a blue badge. And a guy won a vacancy election. He sat over in that corner back when Republicans had more seats than Democrats. And in a committee hearing, House business, it was over in the old Supreme Court chamber, I was testifying against a bill. And during that committee hearing, a member of that committee began asking very good questions that I knew the answers to. And I went back to my seat after that and asked my contract lobbyist, "Who's that?" And he said, "Oh, that's the new representative, Ted Harvey." Ted had won a vacancy election. About a year later, I moved to Douglas County and Well, here I am. Ted and I would go out, of course, every election year and blanket Douglas County with yard signs. And one trip, we were in the Nunez neighborhood, and Joe and Lily had asked for the collection of yard signs we were passing out. And she came out and gave Ted a big hug. She came over and gave me a big hug and referred to us as her boys. So for the family, you have 2 adopted sons. Ted may be a little more close than I, but what an amazing blessing to know Joe and Lily. Always encouraging, always positive. There was one time during my first campaign where there were some rumors going around, and Joe picked up the phone and called and said, "Chris, explain this to me. What's true?" And that admonishment, again, it's not scolding, but Joe taught me in times of conflict, especially in politics, learn what's true. And just because you're mad doesn't mean you're right. Joe had the patience to teach me that. It was extremely hard last fall to get that call, to be notified that Joe and Lily had passed away very close to each other in timing. They had also a home in Las Vegas, and that's where they were at the time. It was COVID. We couldn't have a celebration. We couldn't be there to comfort family. I'm sure you've lived through that during COVID as well. Ted came here because of a vacancy in the House, and Joe Nunez had gone to work for the second Bush administration. And I'm just here to thank God. That meant that Ted Harvey and I got to be best friends. The first time I stood at this podium, I wasn't supposed to be here. It was late at the night after a Rockies game with Representative Harvey, and just stood here and thought, wow, what an honor and privilege for him to be here, and then later for me to be here. These memorials become all too frequent as you get older. I often wonder how many would come and speak for me. Would anybody remember me? And hearing about a politician talking about him or herself is the most boring thing in the world, so I won't dwell on that. But I am so honored to be here for Joe and Lily, because if he hadn't have taken that job, Ted might not have been sitting back there, I think where Representative Mullica sits now, next to Lori Clapp. And this lobbyist might not have met the man who would become his best friend, and would have been blessed to have Lily Nunez refer to me as one of her boys. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for this opportunity to come before the chamber. I wish you all the best, most productive last 30 days of my legislative career. And Joe and Lily, thank you for being over me in the Lord. Thank you for admonishing me. And I esteem you very highly in love for your work's sake. Lily was National Committee Woman for Colorado and Republicans for years, and we would ask her every 2 years, "Are you sure you want to do this again?" And Joe and Lily would smile and say yes. God bless you both. Godspeed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minority Leader Holbert. The House will come to order. Is there any further discussion on House Memorial 1001? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of House Memorial 1001. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Memorial 1001 is adopted. Representative Ransom.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask that the current roll call be added as co-sponsors.
Seeing no objection, the current roll call will be added as co-sponsors. The House will be in recess for,
Can I introduce?
yeah, of course, that's a great idea. Representative Ransom.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If you all the family sitting along this wall to my right. At this time, I would like to introduce the family that we have in the chamber today. So I'll ask him to stand as I say their names so that you can know who's who. So Joe's 4 children are here. Dan Nunez, Teresa Nunez, Lily Nunez Mew, and Kristen Nunez. His grandsons, Jacob Curtis, Matthew Nunez, Henry Mew. And some granddaughters are here. Caroline Curtis, Daisy Curtis, Violet Curtis. Got the flowers, remember Lily? And then we've got some flowers, Daisy and Violet. And then Jacqueline Curtis. And we have 2 great-grandchildren. You saw the picture of them holding the baby. But Israel Curtis, who's 3, and Jimena Curtis, who's 1. Welcome, and again, please accept our deepest, deepest condolences. We're so glad you're here.
And the House will stand in a very brief recess to greet our guests. House will come back to order. Majority Leader Escar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the following bills be made special orders today, April 11th at 10:56 a.m. House Bill 1306, House Bill 1155, House Bill 1278, House Bill 1312, House Bill 1324, Senate Bill 9, and Senate Bill 10.
Seeing no objection, the bills laid out by the Majority Leader this morning, Monday, April 11th at 10:55 will be made special orders. Representative Froelich. Members, you've heard the motion. Seeing no objection, Representative Froelich will take the chair.
Let me do the whole spiel. The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a request for reading the bill at length. Committee reports are printed and in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and on your iPads. Bills will be laid over upon motion of the Majority Leader. The coat rule is relaxed. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the request of the bill sponsor, I move to lay over House Bill 1306 until tomorrow, Tuesday, April 12th.
Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to Bill 1155. Oh, and 1306 is laid over until tomorrow. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title of 1155.
House Bill 1155 by Representatives Will McCluskey, also Senator Gonzalez, concerning in-state tuition classification at institutions of higher education for students who complete high school in Colorado.
Representative McCluskey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1155 and the committee report from Education.
To the Education Committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, in Education Committee, we did add an amendment to clarify that students would need to be physically present in Colorado for at least 1 year, immediately preceding the date that the student would be going on to college. And this was to make sure that there was no gaming of our system regarding in-state tuition. I encourage an aye vote.
The question before us is the adoption of the Education Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those
Aye.
opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Education Committee report is adopted. To the bill, Representative Will.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's an honor to serve with you.
And an honor to serve with you, Representative Will.
So in this bill, in 2013, the General Assembly passed what's known as the Asset Bill. And that current law allows an undocumented student who attends a high school in Colorado for 3 years and attains a diploma or GED in Colorado to qualify for in-state tuition at a public college or university in Colorado. In order to avail themselves of that in-state status, a student must enroll in college within 1 year of graduating. That's known as a use it or lose it provision of the law. And then during the pandemic, higher education, as you well know, saw a marked decrease in enrollment for a variety of reasons. But these asset students who did not enroll within that 1 year time period due to the pandemic, after graduating in 20 or 21, they lost their ability to qualify for in-state tuition. So what this bill does, 1155, it does two things to assist with student population and make it easier for institutions to determine who is and who is not eligible for in-state tuition. First, it repeals the use it or lose it barrier. The arbitrary 1 year enrollment deadline will no longer apply for asset students. This limit's not in place for other students seeking in-state tuition eligibility. And the second thing this bill does is repeal the requirement that a student attend high school in Colorado for 3 years. The bill will require a high school diploma or GED from a Colorado high school and a year of physical presence in Colorado to qualify for in-state tuition. That's the same requirement in place for other students that graduate from Colorado high schools and seek state tuition at our colleges and universities.
Representative McCluskey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I am so pleased to be here today with my partner, Representative Will. We represent the Western Slope, the High Country, and our immigrant community is critical to our local workforce as well as the community fabric, who we are as a high country and thriving group of people. And it was so important in 2013 when we passed Asset to see the students in our high school at that time come down to this Capitol, thrilled to know that they would be able to secure in-state tuition for their college degree, for their college dream. Years later, we are now improving the asset legislation to remove any additional barriers, to create greater access to that post-secondary credential. We know it is critical to have a highly skilled, well-educated workforce in this state, particularly for us on the Western Slope where we've seen such incredible workforce shortages. This bill helps pave the way to make sure that more students graduating from high school today in Colorado can continue with their college dream. I encourage a yes vote on House Bill 1155.
Representative Will.
I just like to add, having a workforce in these mountain communities is critical, and this really helps with the serving our businesses with that capital of the workforce. And so we truly need this. I know several organizations have support this, including the Aspen Chamber and Resort Association, Basalt Chamber of Commerce, Glenwood Springs Chamber and Association, and Vail Valley Partnership, Steamboat Springs. And I know Julie's, I don't have a list of Julie's businesses over there, but I know a bunch of them. And so, and all the colleges and universities in this state are in support of this. So ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1155. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1155 is passed. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title of House Bill 1278.
House Bill 1278 by Representatives Young and Pelton, also Senators Lee and Simpson, concerning the creation of the Behavioral Health Administration.
Representative Pelton. Representative Young.
You're moving it and you're moving it to the report.
We'll start with the appropriations report. Representative Pelton.
Okay.
If you would move the bill, please.
I move House Bill 1278, the Public and Behavioral Health Committee report, and the appropriations report.
Thank you very much. To the appropriations report, Representative Young?
Appropriations did give us money in appropriations.
The question before us is the adoption of the appropriations report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The appropriations report is adopted. To the public and behavioral health report, Representative Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'd like to move L20, an amendment to the committee report.
Members, this rather long amendment is on your desk, and it will also be displayed. The amendment has been moved, and we are waiting for it to be displayed. And again, it is on your desk. The amendment is properly displayed. Representative Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment is just conforming amendments, removing the term community mental health center throughout the revised statutes. I ask for a yes vote.
The question before us is the adoption of Amendment L20 to House Bill 1278. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Amendment 20 is to the Public and Behavioral Health Committee report is adopted. No?
No. We got
And we have more coming. That's okay. The amendment to the report is adopted, right? I didn't, okay. Representative Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I move Amendment L023 to the committee report and ask to be displayed.
Thank you, Representative. And this also is on your desk. It's a little over a page. Is there any discussion about Amendment L23, Representative Pelton?
Thank you, Madam Chair. What this amendment does is it changes the membership of the advisory councils, regional, and subcommittees to ensure one member has knowledge of the specific needs of children and youth. And then there are technical corrections, clarifying language, and changes to ensure consistency throughout the bill. I'd ask for a yes vote.
The question before us is the adoption of Amendment 23 to House Bill 1278. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
To the amendment to the Public and Behavioral and Health Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do you want to talk?
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The report, the amendment to the report is adopted. Representative Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So in committee, you know, there were a lot of amendments we ran to try to get this bill as good as we could in this chamber so that when it goes to the Senate, there won't be much work. There still may be a little bit. When you have a bill this big, you know, there's going to be a lot of changes when people finally see it in print. I think this is a good bill moving forward, and in committee, we did a lot of good work.
Representative Young.
There has been ongoing stakeholding around this very important issue, and it came to a good place during the Public Health Committee, and I urge an aye vote to the committee report.
Question, did you want to talk on this? Or okay, thank you. The question before us is the adoption of the Public and Behavioral Health Committee report as amended. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report passes. To the bill, Representative Young.
Before the bill, I move L025, which is to the bill.
You have also L025 on your desk to House Bill 1278. We will also display it. It is displayed. To the amendment, Representative Young.
First of all, there is an important change. We are moving comprehensive behavioral health safety net provider throughout the bill to comprehensive community behavioral health provider, really emphasizing the importance of the word of community in this work. There's several additions to ensure the specific needs of children and youth in behavioral health policy. There are changes to add more accountability measures and feedback loops for the BHA and the BASOs and the managed care entities. We're also always happy to hear about more accountability. It also has requirements for the BHA and HCPF to collaborate to align performance standards, and there are changes to school-based services to ensure the autonomy of school districts while also requiring collaboration between the BASOs and the school systems. Finally, there are technical corrections and clarifying language.
The question before us is the adoption of Amendment 25 to House Bill 1278. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Amendment 25 is passed. Representative Young.
I move L027, which is to the bill, and ask for it to be displayed.
This one is short, so you have not received this on your desk. It is being properly displayed. Can you describe the amendment, please? Representative Young.
Well, this is an amendment to ensure that we don't leave money on the table, that it encourages BASOs and providers to choose modalities of behavioral health services that are eligible for federal reimbursement.
The question before us is Amendment 27 to House Bill 1278. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Amendment 27 is passed. Representative Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last year, we ran the Stage 1 of Behavioral Health Administration to get it set up, and that way they could go ahead and hire a department head and things like that. This is Step 2. This is really getting statute and everything changed around to where the Behavioral Health Administration will be able to start working and start doing their job. The Behavioral Health Administration, one of the reasons I'm on this bill is it will help to reduce bureaucracy, consolidate fragmented behavioral health networks. We've got 75 different programs administered by 13 to 14 different departments, and they don't necessarily talk to each other. And, you know, this administration should cut down on duplication, cut down on administration. There are going to be a few new FTEs to administer this administration, but there are going to be quite a few FTE transfers. So even though the FTE looks huge on the fiscal note, a lot of them are going to be transfers. So anytime that we can add efficiency, transparency to government, I'm all over that, and that's the main reason I'm on this bill. And to also ensure rural Colorado has a seat at the table and we get what we need out in rural Colorado also.
Representative Young.
Madam Chair, it is an honor to serve with you.
It's an honor to serve with you, Representative Young.
This bill is so essential to meet the needs of Coloradans. We've heard from them that they are not able to access the behavioral health care they need, when they need it, and the kind of care they need. This bill will address those issues and make sure we have, as Representative Pelton has said, a streamlined system that has a great deal of accountability and transparency in order for people who in the past with significant serious mental health disorders and substance use disorders to finally get the services they need when they need them. Monumental change takes time, and this is a step in the right direction. This will meet the needs of Coloradans of all ages and issues and disabilities. We need to move forward with this at this very crucial time, and we have talked to the citizens of Colorado to find out what they need. I urge and I vote.
Representative Holtorf.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, bill sponsors, for bringing this important bill and continuing to move forward in the process for building capacity in behavioral health. I have a couple of questions for the bill sponsors. As we know, we are making significant multi-million-dollar investments in behavioral health in Colorado. As I sat on the committee and heard the testimony, the fiscal note is bringing in almost $6 million in the out years to this administration. It also is building 46 new FTE into this department as we grow the Behavioral Health Administration. But my question is this: the demands in the behavioral health space and the competing interests in the behavioral health space are not going to change with a new department. The fight for federal dollars, the fight for state dollars, the fight for the taxpayers' dollars is not going to change. So to the bill sponsors, does this bill have the adequate guardrails in it to make sure that the citizens of Colorado, the clients that are needing this behavioral health treatment, and it's greater than ever now in Colorado, it's going to be transparent, it's going to be open, there's not going to be anything behind the scenes that's going to cause any disparity in reimbursement rates or other such handling of the funds as we apply those to build the largest capacity we can in the state of Colorado to take us from a very low rating in handling behavioral health up to, I would say, a top tier or the top 30% in the United States of handling behavioral health. Because right now I think we're at the bottom third in the category and rating. So that's my question to the bill sponsors. I'm really, really concerned about this and have ran legislation to address this already this session.
Representative Pelton.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair. So I think that is one of the key elements to this behavioral health administration is to ensure that, you know, we do have equal access across the state, reimbursement rates, kind of making sure there's a standard moving forward with that. And also in rural Colorado, that those standards that are applied on the Front Range, at the end of the day, it's a department that we can only steer so much, but that's one of the reasons I'm involved, is to add that transparency, that efficiency, that equality of reimbursements throughout the system.
Representative Amabile.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to get up today in support of this bill. Many years ago, before I ran for office, I testified at the meetings of the Behavioral Health Task Force that was set up by Governor Polis. And I know that this has been a long, long road to get to here. And there has been a lot of resistance along the way and a lot of interests that have weighed in on this bill. And it makes sense that the people who are comfortable with the system that we have are resisting a change. But I was there to give testimony to the fact that the people who need this system to be good were not happy and are not happy with how we're doing things right now. And so I really want to applaud the bill sponsors and all of the people who worked on the Behavioral Health Task Force and all of the families that testified to the Behavioral Health Task Force to tell them what we're doing isn't working and it is time for a change. And the change has to be big and it has to be bold and it has to disrupt this failed system that we currently have. one of the people who testified on one of the days when I testified, and she and I became friends as a result of being there together on the same day. She had a son, 28 years old, or 27 at the time, and he had schizoaffective disorder and had spent time in jail and had spent a lot of time homeless. And I have a son who's in that same demographic, although mine hasn't been in jail, but he has been involved in the criminal justice system. And she told her story. Her name is Janet Vanderlock. And during the pandemic, Janet lost another one of her sons to suicide. And a few months after that, Janet took her own life. And her son, who's the same age as my son, is still out on the streets, homeless. And now he's lost his mother and his brother. And that is on us. It is on our failed mental health care system. And that family is gone. And they will not be back. And Janet Vanderlock, with all of the strength and the power that she possessed, could not make it. She couldn't do it. And that's why this is a really important piece of legislation, and I urge a yes vote. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Representative Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to add a little bit more also to Representative Holtorf's question. Some of the amendments also have to do with public reporting of the BASOs and the RAIs on their performance, and also, you know, some of their, what their reimbursements and things like that. So I think that will help go a long ways also towards the equality in pay and transparency. So with that, I would urge a yes vote on this bill.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1278 as amended. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill passes. Mr. Shebo, please read the title of House Bill 1312.
House Bill 1312 by Representatives Lynch and Woodrow, also Senators Moreno and Woodward, concerning modifications to sales tax statutes in order to address certain defects and anachronisms.
Representative Lynch.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1312.
So moved. To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a pretty simple SRC bill that I brought my lawyer with to give the specific details if you need them. But basically, in local sales tax statute, the bill fixes incorrect cross-references to sales tax filings and remittance requirements for direct pay permit holders. The bill fixes an incorrect cross-reference in the definition of auction sale, and the bill repeals two obsolete provisions in the sales and use tax statutes, which I'm sure my co-prime will explain in further detail.
Representative Woodrow.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and colleagues. Actually, Representative Lynch did a fantastic job explaining the inner workings of this bill, and you know, the good work of the Statutory Revision Committee continues apace. Here, I mean, you've already seen us move apostrophes and shorten Food and Drug Administration to FDA. Now we are changing a reference to 3926-1053 to 3926-1055. Really exciting stuff there. Also changing an incorrect cross-reference to auction sale so that we have the correct one, and then deleting some sections of our code that dealt with state fiscal years 2009 to 10 and 2016 and 2017. So, good bill, vote yes.
Is there any further discussion? The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1312. All those in favor, seeing none, by the way, the question before us is the passage of 1312. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. 1312 is passed. Mr. Shebo, please read the title of 1324.
House Bill 1324 by Representatives Burnett and Lynch, also Senators Woodward and Rodriguez, concerning a modification to the definition of pawnbroker.
Representative Burnett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1324 and the Business and Labor Report.
To the committee report.
In committee, we amended the bill with a technical change. I ask for an aye vote.
Representative Lynch.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Amendment L002 and ask that it be displayed.
The amendment has been properly moved and is about to be displayed.
That's to the bill. Yeah. This is the second.
Is it to the,
It's not to the bill. That's in a minute. We need to adopt the committee report. Right, we have to adopt the committee report first. Sorry. Yes. Okay.
oh, let's adopt the
Adopt the
committee
committee
report
report.
first. So the question before us is the adoption of the Business Affairs and Labor Report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report is adopted. To the bill. Representative Lynch.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for your patience. I move Amendment L002 and ask that it be displayed.
Amendment L002 to the bill has been moved and is about to be displayed. It is now properly displayed. Representative Lynch.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a simple change of the bill. It takes and puts a safety clause on it just because there are some time constraints and money that's being lost by the folks that this bill benefits the most, and I would urge an aye vote.
The question before us is the adoption of L002 to House Bill 1324. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment passes. To the bill, Representative Burnett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Under current law, a pawnbroker is one who regularly engages in the business of making contracts for purchase or purchase transaction in the course of his or her business. This means that well-established and well-respected businesses that engage in reselling high-quality used products must hold the product for no less than 30 days after purchasing the product. They cannot clean or refurbish or put the product up for sale. They simply have to hold it for 30 days. And this creates a financial burden and a large inventory carrying costs. Colorado is the only state that entangles the pawnbroker and secondhand dealer laws, and many secondhand dealers purchase goods from and resell products on the internet. What this bill does, it simply disentangles the definition of the pawnbroker from the definition of secondhand dealers, and more clearly defines pawnbrokers as a person who is regularly engaged in the business of making purchase transactions and also regularly or occasionally making contracts for purchase. So the benefits of this bill is that businesses like the Pros Crosslets, which is one of my constituents, can resell their merchandise faster and reduce their inventory carrying costs so they are more profitable. Makes it easier for secondhand dealers to purchase merchandise from out of state and sold to local customers. That keeps more money flowing into the Colorado's economy. And it also encourages new secondhand dealers to choose to do business in Colorado. This brings Colorado in line with the rest of the country with a legal distinction of a secondhand dealer versus a pawnbroker. I ask for an adoption of House Bill 1324 as amended.
Representative Lynch.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is just a good common sense bill that actually catches kind of a glitch in the law that luckily for all those folks that are out there selling secondhand stuff have not been caught on before. But when somebody was really super successful, like we saw in Representative Burnett's constituent's case, brought it to light, and it makes a whole lot of sense. It's very common sense, and it really frees up what we're seeing a lot more of in the secondary markets of people buying and selling used goods. I would urge a yes vote on House Bill 1324.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1324 as amended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. 1324 is adopted. Passes. Mr. Shebo, please read Senate Bill 9.
Senate Bill 9 by Senators Janal and Heisey, also Representatives Byrd and Benavidez, concerning catalytic converters and in connection therewith enacting measures to address the theft of catalytic converters.
Representative Benavidez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Senate Bill 009, the appropriations report, and the committee report on energy and environment.
Just the Energy and Environment Committee report to the committee report.
Okay. We made a couple of changes in energy and environment to really clarify that catalytic converter, if it's detached from the vehicle, we clarified who the dealer is, that it would include processors and smelters, and we took out a piece on, at the very end, on checking for stolen materials, that's required using the national system. So I would urge a yes vote on the report.
The question before us is the adoption of the Energy and Environment Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Oh, wait.
On the committee report.
Discussion from Representative Pico about the Energy and Environment Committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I rise in concern a couple of questions on this, and I'm not sure if it should be here on the committee report or later, but take it up now. I have a lot of concern with the fact of how long it takes to get a catalytic converter. The issue that we have, and here are constituents, if they've been victimized by a theft, are being victimized again because they cannot get a catalytic converter in a reasonable period of time. And for that reason, I'd like to amend the committee report. And Madam Chair, if it isn't too much, if I could ask for a brief recess while we prepare those amendments?
The committee will stand in a brief recess. The committee will come back to order. Representative Pico.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to make the amendments to the bill, so I will step down.
So we are back to the Energy and Environment Committee report. The question before us is the adoption of that report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The report is adopted. To the bill. Representative Byrd.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, members, we are talking about Senate Bill 9. We have heard from our constituents that thieves are targeting our cars and stealing their catalytic converters. It takes less than a minute for a thief to slide under a car and saw off a catalytic converter. Once removed from the vehicle, thieves then sell them to recycling companies or scrap yards for a quick profit. The motive for the majority of these thefts is to obtain the valuable metals that are inside the converter, like rhodium, palladium, and platinum. We know this is wrong. Our bill, if passed, will require more accountability and transparency in the aftermarkets that are used to deal in stolen catalytic converters. Further, the bill will ensure that aftermarket dealers implement changes in their business practices to help identify thieves and hold them accountable for these actions. These changes will make it harder for thieves to access legal aftermarkets. Importantly, our bill adds the theft of catalytic converters to the crime of illegal chop shop activities, which is a Class 4 felony. Additionally, the Commodity Metals Theft Task Force will be charged with finding a solution to reducing catalytic converter thefts. As we need our cars for transportation, we need our catalytic converters to reduce harmful vehicle emissions to protect the air that we breathe. Criminals stealing catalytic converters are not only harming car owners, but they're jeopardizing clean air for all of us. And we hope you will help us address this problem by voting yes on Senate Bill 9.
Representative Pico.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This might turn out to be an exhausting discussion. However, our constituents are victimized more than once. They're victimized once when their catalytic converter is stolen, and we know we have an epidemic of that going on. And all of the issues that have been raised within the bill, I think, are good, and they approach the issue in a logical manner. However, our constituents, those who have been victimized by the theft, are spending months waiting for a new catalytic converter. And there are a lot of problems with how they get that converter, and a lot of expense involved in that. And during the time that they're waiting for this, which can be 6 to 9 months in some cases, and thousands of dollars, they are victimized again because they can't drive their vehicle, and they're having to either rent a vehicle or use a second vehicle or something. They need to have some relief, and they need to have relief sooner rather than later. And so what I would suggest is that we temporarily, if they have a police report, if they have a receipt saying this on order, that we allow them to straight pipe their exhaust system so that they can drive their car temporarily. Now, some may argue that this is a bad air quality issue. Granted that you're going to be driving for some period of time, but I'm going to cite 2 precedents. First one, when I received orders overseas, we were going to take our vehicle with us, and in Italy there was no non-leaded fuel available at that time, and we got a federal waiver for everyone who ordered overseas to straight pipe their car, go overseas, and then when we came back and we arrived here in Colorado, and I showed up with my straight pipe vehicle, I had several months waiver in which to get a new catalytic converter installed. So that's precedent number 1. Precedent number 2 is not every vehicle out there has a catalytic converter. General aviation does not use catalytic converters on their aircraft. And so you have that option. And to that point, Madam Chair, I offer Amendment L007 and ask that it be displayed. Oh, I'm sorry. And Madam Chair, I meant move. I move Amendment L007.
That amendment has been properly moved and displayed. Representative Pico.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What this amendment does is temporarily, and I stress temporarily, give the option for people whose vehicles have been vandalized and victimized to at least be able to get their vehicle back on the road in the short term while they await the arrival of a catalytic converter so they can put this on. Again, I have to stress it's temporary. It's only if they have the police report in hand with the vehicle, as well as a receipt showing that it's been ordered. I think this is a reasonable effort. I think it gives relief in the near term to the victims of this so they're not victimized multiple times, once by the thief and again by the government. I ask for an aye vote.
Representative Benavidez.
Thank you, members, and thank you, Representative Pico, for your interest in this bill. And I don't disagree that often it takes months, but sometimes, and I think in most instances, it takes weeks. I had a daughter whose catalytic converter was stolen this summer in June, and she was out because she took it to 2 people, but to actually get it, it was less than a month that she had to wait for the part. But this proposal asks that people operate their vehicle without a catalytic converter. And the problem, though, if any of you have tried, just like my daughter, and I think one of our members' wives' catalytic converter was stolen at the airport just recently, that it makes this tremendous noise, and the whole purpose of the catalytic converter is to reduce the emissions. When we have pollution in this state and our highest levels come from vehicles, it makes no sense to do that. And at the federal level, one of the issues around catalytic converters is to make sure they are warranted for 8 years. So to drive a vehicle without one is not really prudent on our behalf. So I would urge a no vote.
Representative Pico.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, Madam Chair. I agree that in some cases you might get it faster, and in which case this amendment would have no effects. If you can get it within a week or two, awesome. But the reality is that an awful lot of people cannot. And we've seen wait times in months, 6 to 9 months has been quoted as being the case in many, many situations. Again, this is a temporary measure, and it only applies to those relatively few vehicles that have been, from which a catalytic converter has been stolen. And again, I'll point to the fact that general aviation does not use catalytic converters, nor will this be a severe impact upon our air quality. I'm not suggesting at all that this be an avenue to avoid that, but the reality is we have that. And driving up here on several days this last week, I was driving right next to a car that was pretty obvious that they didn't have a catalytic converter anymore. You could tell, and they were being driven anyway. This gives an option to at least be able to make that as legal method and make that some relief to the people who have been already victimized, so that again, that they're not victimized twice, once by the thief and once by the government. I ask for an aye vote.
Representative Benavidez?
Again, thank you, Representative. Oh, you're still on the other one? Oh, I still urge a no vote to that one.
Representative Holtorf?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to rise in support of the amendment that my colleague from El Paso County has brought forth. Just the other day, right here in the rotunda of the Capitol, a staffer who works here was leaving the parking area, and it was clearly visible that he did not have a catalytic converter as he rumbled and rolled out of the parking area. Now, this individual has to get to work. It may be their only vehicle. Imagine the stress on a family, 1 or 2 or 3. To the bill sponsors, imagine the stress on the family when they now have one of the vehicles unavailable to drive unless they choose to drive it illegally. This is a good, common sense, short-term solution. So I'd like for the bill sponsors to reconsider. I don't know if they understand my comments here. But this is really important for families, and you just can't go out and buy another vehicle. The price of used vehicles has gone up 30% because of inflationary forces. You just can't go buy a new vehicle because of inflation. Colorado is feeling inflation in so many sectors. This is a simple solution, and some people may do this anyway. You roll into a muffler shop, you put a pipe in there, you can drive, and it's not in the same configuration. When your catalytic converter comes in 3, 4, 5, or 6 months later, you schedule another appointment, and you get in compliance. Common sense amendment from a common sense legislator from El Paso County. Please vote yes.
Representative Pico?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll just add one comment to this. If someone has had their catalytic converter stolen and they can't drive their vehicle, they basically have to go out, not just order a new catalytic converter, but they have to rent a new car. And think of the impact that this has on many of our constituents. How many of them can afford another extra $100 a day to rent a car while they're waiting for a catalytic converter to show up? Again, I ask for an aye vote. Let's give some relief to the victims of crime.
Representative Will?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and it's still an honor to serve with you.
I'm sorry, Representative Will.
It's still an honor to serve with you.
Oh, it is absolutely an honor to serve with you as well.
Well, this happens to me way too often. I'm starting to get a complex. So I support this amendment 100%, but more like 110%. This is just a common sense thing. Let's help our people that get a converter stolen or whatever. Let's get them on the road, get them to work, wherever they need to do. And I couldn't support this amendment anymore. Thank you.
The question before us is the adoption of Amendment L007 to Senate Bill 9. All those in favor say yes. Aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The noes have it. The amendment fails. To the bill. Representative Pico.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, another issue that we have is how much it costs to get a new original equipment catalytic converter as opposed to getting an aftermarket. We heard testimony in committee, $4,000 for an OEM catalytic converter, whereas if we could allow an aftermarket device which meets emission standards, it would be $400. That's a huge difference. This is real economic relief to our constituents. Thousands of dollars of relief to the people who have already been victimized once. I think we should allow aftermarket catalytic converters with the proviso that they still have to meet all emission standards. And to that, Madam Chair, I move Amendment L008 and ask that it be displayed.
That amendment has been properly moved and will shortly be displayed. Representative Benavides. Oh, well, let's have. Okay, Representative Benavides.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you again, Representative Pico, with your interest in this bill and this issue. That's why I brought the bill. I also have much interest in it. The problem is, as I mentioned before, there is federal regulations with regard to catalytic converters, and they also require the warranty piece. This part of the similar language, not exactly, was on the bill in the Senate. And it was taken off because of the problems with that federal regulation and requiring a laboratory to build it. Because it's not just about the emissions, it's about the warranting of the catalytic converter, even an aftermarket one. And so this bill was taken off in the Senate because of all of those combined issues. So I would oppose this bill. This, not the bill, the amendment.
Representative Pico.
The amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to amend my colleagues' comments. Okay. I appreciate all those issues, but in reality, the aftermarket devices can meet those standards. In many cases, in most cases, they do meet those standards. And what this amendment does is still require that aftermarket device to meet all emission standards that are required. While the Senate may have removed it, I think we should add it back on, and we should have that conference committee, and we should have that discussion. Because according to the industry, they can meet those requirements, they can do this, and we can save our constituents, the victims of these crimes, from being victimized again by having to pay thousands of dollars more than they need to. Let's give some real economic relief to some of our citizens, and let's ensure that they're not victimized once by the thief and again by our government.
Representative Geithner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so, members, I just wanted to further highlight something I know the sponsor of the amendment did too, but it says the vehicle equipped with the aftermarket catalytic converter passes any emission test required pursuant to this Part 3. So, I mean, unless the testing facility is somehow not able to identify something that is not in compliance with federal law, this is actually a good amendment because it already addresses the concern that I guess the Senate had and that I guess the sponsors of the bill have, because it says that the vehicle equipped with the aftermarket catalytic converter passes any emission test required pursuant to this Part 3. So that concern should be alleviated, the concern around it not somehow being compliant with federal law, by lines 14 through 16 of this amendment. So I would urge a yes vote on L008.
The question before us is Amendment L008, unless Representative Will wants to come back down and say something so I can properly acknowledge what an honor it is to serve with you. Otherwise, we'll just go to Amendment 008. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. No. The noes, the amendment fails. To the bill. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 9 as amended. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, the bill passes. Mr. Shebo, please read Senate Bill 10.
Senate Bill 10 by Senators Simpson and Lee, also Representatives Benavidez and Amabile, concerning pretrial diversion programs that are intended to identify eligible individuals who have behavioral health disorders in order to divert them from the criminal justice system into community treatment programs.
Representative Amabile.
I move the committee report for Senate Bill 10
And the bill.
and the bill.
To the Judiciary Committee report, Representative Amabile.
Thank you. In the Judiciary Committee, we actually removed an amendment that the Senate had put on and made a couple of other technical changes.
The question before us is the adoption of the Judiciary Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The Judiciary Committee report is adopted. Representative Amabile, to the bill.
Senate Bill 10 takes an existing diversion program and an existing pilot program that's set to expire for mental health diversion and puts the two together and continues this great work of allowing criminal justice diversion and allows people who have mental illness to be participants in diversion. I ask for a yes vote.
Representative Benavidez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And the only other part of this I would want to talk about is this came from the Oversight Committee on Treatment of People with Behavioral Disorders in the Criminal Justice System. So we heard from the diversion program, and they brought us this because we wanted to make sure it's not an absolute requirement for every judicial district, but it provides the legislative statutory language for them to incorporate that into their programs. And for those of you that don't know what diversion is, if someone is arrested and if they go through the treatment and all the other requirements that are set out for them and they don't have any other legal issues, they're not charged with other crimes, then when they complete that, the charge is dismissed. So that's why this is an important piece to keep more people out of our jails, especially as our jails have become the de facto mental health hospitals of our state. So I would urge a yes vote, and we did have a unanimous vote in Judiciary.
Representative Gray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm probably one of the few people in this room who's ever got to sit through the committee that has been applying diversion when I was in the DA's office. But it's such an important tool that we have, and it's the kind of idea that I wouldn't normally talk on a bill like this because it seems like just about everybody's on board with it. But we are also going to be having some other conversations about drug possession here pretty soon, and they're going to be a little bit more heated than this one. And I do think that people should understand this was one of the best tools for dealing with folks who are charged with felony drug possession back when drug possession was a much more serious felony when I was in the DA's office than it is now. And so I just think it's worth highlighting this tool and highlighting the importance of personal intervention and behavioral health intervention versus felonization of drug possession. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Representative Catlin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's an honor to serve with you.
It's an honor to serve with you, sir.
Thank you. I have a quick question for the sponsors. The title of the bill is about people who are having mental health problems. Is that what this bill is for, those individuals, not just for anybody who decided to make a crime and then we decide to help them out?
Representative Amabile.
Yeah, we currently allow DAs who want to offer diversion programs for whatever category of person. Usually it's misdemeanor crimes, but that's, the DAs make that determination. What this bill does is it allows them to also offer diversion for people who have mental illness and whose mental illness was a factor in the commission of whatever crime they're accused of.
Representative Catlin.
Thank you. Does it help the state look at and focus at this mental health question prior to them getting into the system?
Representative Amabile.
Yes, I think it does. And I think it's a really necessary piece to disentangle mental illness from the criminal justice system, because our jails are full to the brim with people who have mental health issues. And that is the reason they're there. For example, if you went into a Target store and you were having a psychotic episode and you picked up a loaf of bread and then walked out, you would be charged with a crime. But your intent wasn't to steal the bread. You were having a psychotic episode. You didn't know what you were doing. That's who would be helped.
Is there any further discussion?
I asked for a yes vote.
The question before us is the adoption of Senate Bill, the passage of Senate Bill 10. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 10 passes. Madam Assistant Majority Leader Gonzalez Gutierrez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the committee rise and report.
You have heard the motion. Seeing no objection, the committee will rise and report.
The House will come back to order. Mr. Shebo, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker Pro Tem, your Committee of the Whole begs leave to report as under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof and making the following recommendations thereon. House Bill 1155 is amended, 1278 is amended, 1312, 1324 is amended, passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 9 is amended, Senate Bill 10 is amended, passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1306 laid over until April 12, 2022.
Thank you. Representative Froelich. All right, members, you've heard the motion, and we have two amendments to the Committee of the Whole. And Mr. Pico, could you please read, or Mr. Shebo, I'm looking at Pico. Mr. Shebo, could you read the first amendment to the Committee of the Whole brought by Representative Pico?
Representative Pico moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee in not adopting the following Pico Amendment L7 to Senate Bill 9 to show that said amendment passed and that House or Senate Bill 9 as amended passed.
Representative Pico.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move the first Pico Amendment to Senate Bill 22-009 and ask for an aye vote. What this does is give some tangible relief in the short term to our victims who have been victimized once so that they're not victimized twice. I ask for your aye support.
Seeing no further discussion, Mr. Shebo, please open the machine, and members, please vote. And on the wall, I'm just going to go across. So, Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Hooton votes no. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Caravello, how do you vote?
No.
Did you say no? Okay. Representative Caravello votes no. Representative Sandridge, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Sandridge votes yes. Representative Williams, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Williams votes yes. Representative Neville, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Representative Neville votes yes. I think that's everybody. Mr. Shebo, please close the machine. With 37 ayes and 28 noes and 2 excused, the amendment passes. Oh, Mr. Shebo, please read the second amendment that Representative Pico brings.
Representative Pico moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee in not adopting the following Pico Amendment L8 to Senate Bill 9 to show that said amendment passed and that Senate Bill 9 as amended passed.
Representative Pico.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move the second Pico Amendment to the report of the Committee of the Whole. What this does is allow aftermarket devices as recorded in the committee. This can save thousands of dollars and still requires any catalytic converter to meet all required emission standards. It's a very common sense. This gives real economic relief to the citizens of Colorado who have been victimized, so they're not victimized twice, once by the thief and once by the government. I ask for an aye vote.
Members, you've heard the motion. See no further discussion. Mr. Shebo, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Hooton votes no. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Caravello, how do you vote?
Yes.
Say it again?
Yes.
Representative Caravello votes yes. Representative Neville, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Neville votes yes. Representative Williams, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Williams votes yes. Representative Sandridge, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Representative Sandridge votes yes. Okay, Mr. Shebel, please close the machine. With 39 ayes and 24 noes and 2 excused, that amendment passes. Let's see. There are no further amendments at the desk. The question before us is adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Hooton votes yes. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Caravello, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Caravello votes yes. Representative Williams, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Williams votes no. Representative Neville, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Neville votes no. Representative Sandridge, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Sandridge votes no. Please close the machine. With 37 ayes, 26 noes, 2 excused, the report of the Committee of the Whole passes. Madam Majority Leader. Oh, hold on. Now, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move to proceed out of order for third reading of bills.
All right. Mr. Shebel, please read the title of House Bill 1210.
House Bill 1210 by Representatives Benavides and Duran, also Senator Winter, concerning the continuation of the Domestic Violence Offender Management Board and in connection therewith implementing the recommendations contained in the 2021 Sunset Report by the Department of Regulatory Agencies and making an appropriation.
Thank you. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move House Bill 1210 on third reading, final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1210. See no discussion. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Hooton votes yes. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Williams, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Williams votes no. Representative Caravello, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Caravello votes yes. Representative Neville, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Neville votes no. Representative Sandridge, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Sandridge votes no. Mr. Shebel, please close the machine. With 55 ayes, 8 noes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1210 passes. Co-sponsors. Any co-sponsors on this important bill on domestic violence board? We're running into your last chance. All right, Mr. Shebel, please close the machine. And Madam Majority, oh no. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to Senate Bill 139.
Senate Bill 139 by Senators Buckner and Coleman, also Representative Harrod, concerning the establishment of Juneteenth as a state holiday.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move Senate Bill 139 on third reading, final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 139. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members please proceed to vote. Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Hooton votes yes. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Neville, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Neville votes yes. Representative Caravello, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Caravello votes yes. Representative Sandridge, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Sandridge votes yes. Representative Williams, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Williams votes yes. And Representative Neville, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Neville votes yes. Mr. Shebo, please close the machine. With 61 ayes, 2 noes, and 2 excused, Senate Bill 139 passes. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors, Representative Caraveo, Representative Hooton. Okay, let's close the machine. And Mr. Shebo, please read House Bill 1067.
House Bill 1067 by Representatives Woodrow and Gonzalez Gutierrez, also Senators Lee and Rodriguez, concerning clarifying changes to measures that ensure defendants have a prompt bond hearing and in connection therewith making an appropriation. Reducing an appropriation, excuse me.
Okay, hold on. Are we good? We're good. All right, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move House Bill 1067 on third reading, final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1067. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Shebo, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Hooton votes yes. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Caraveo, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Caraveo votes yes. Representative Williams, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Williams votes no. Representative Neville, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Neville votes no. And Representative Sandridge, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Sandridge votes no. All right, please close the machine. With 36 ayes, 27 noes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1067 passes. And co-sponsors. Oh, on the wall, Representative Hooton wants to co-sponsor. Okay, please close the machine. And Mr. Shebo, please read House Bill 1267, or the title of it.
House Bill 1267 by Representatives Valdez A. and Basenecker, also Senators Janal and Fields, concerning culturally relevant training available to healthcare professionals and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Thank you. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move House Bill 1267 on third reading, final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1267. See no further discussion. Mr. Shebo, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Hooton votes yes. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Caraveo, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Caraveo votes yes. Representative Neville, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Neville votes no. Representative Williams, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Williams votes no. Representative Sandridge, how do you vote?
No.
And Representative Sandridge votes no. Please close the machine. Please close the machine, and House Bill 1267 passes with 39 ayes, 24 noes, and 2 excused. Co-sponsors. And Representative Hooton wants to co-sponsor, Representative Ortiz is co-sponsoring, as well as Representative Caraveo. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebo, please read the title to House Bill 1305.
House Bill 1305 by Representatives Carveo and Gray, also Senators Winter and Coleman, concerning a temporary reduction of the premium an employer must pay for each of its employees for the purpose of the Paid Family and Medical Leave Insurance Act.
Thank you. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move House Bill 1305 on third reading, final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1305. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Shebo, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Hooton votes yes. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Cadavallo, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Cadavallo votes yes. Representative Neville, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Neville votes no. Representative Sandridge, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Sandridge votes no. And Representative Williams, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Williams votes no. Please close the machine. With 39 ayes, 24 noes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1305 is adopted. Co-sponsors? Okay, please close the machine. And Mr. Shebo, please read the title of House Bill 1273.
House Bill 1273 by Representatives Duran and Sirota, also Senators Fenberg and Pedersen, concerning protections for election officials.
Thank you. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move House Bill 1273 on third reading, final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1273. Seeing no further discussion, Mr. Shebo, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Hooton votes yes. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Cadavallo, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Cadavallo votes yes. Representative Neville, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Neville votes no. Representative Williams, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Williams votes no. And Representative Sandridge, how do you vote?
No.
No. Representative Sandridge votes no. All right, please close the machine. With 45 ayes, 18 noes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1273 is adopted. Co-sponsors. On the wall. Representative Hooton wants to co-sponsor, as does Representative Cadavallo. And Representative Ortiz would also like to co-sponsor. All right, please close the machine. And Mr. Shebo, please read the title to Senate Bill 116.
Senate Bill 116 by Senators Holbert and Pedersen, also Representatives Van Winkle and Byrd, concerning the ability of an individual to obtain an occupational credential through the Occupational Credential Portability Program.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 116 on third reading, final passage.
Thank you. The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 116. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Shebo, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Hooton votes yes. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Cadavallo, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Cadavallo votes yes. Representative Neville, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Neville votes yes. Representative Williams, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Williams votes yes. Representative Sandridge, how do you vote?
Yes.
Can you repeat that?
Yes.
Yes. Representative Sandridge votes yes. All right, Mr. Shebo, please close the machine. With 63 ayes, 0 noes, and 2 excused, Senate Bill 116 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Representative Hooton wants to co-sponsor, as does Representative Ortiz, as well as Representative Sandridge. Okay. Mr. Shebo, please close the machine, and please read the title to House Bill 1235.
House Bill 1235 by Representatives McCormick and Catlett and also Senator Janal concerning the continuation of the regulation of veterinary practice by the State Board of Veterinary Medicine and in connection therewith implementing recommendations of the 2021 Sunset Report on the Colorado Veterinary Practice Act by the Department of Regulatory Agencies, adding registration requirements for the veterinary technicians, adding veterinary technicians to the State Board of Veterinary Medicine, allowing certain unlicensed individuals to administer rabies vaccinations, and making an appropriation.
Thank you, Mr. Shebo. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move House Bill 1235 on third reading, final passage.
Okay, members, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1235. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Shebo, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Hooton votes yes. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Caravello, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Caravello votes yes. Representative Neville, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Neville votes no. Representative Sandridge, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Sandridge votes no. And Representative Williams, how do you vote?
No.
And Representative Williams votes no. Representative, okay. Mr. Shebo, please close the machine, and with 54 aye votes, 9 no votes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1235 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Okay, let's close the machine, Mr. Shebo. And please read the title of House Bill 1302.
House Bill 1302 by Representatives Kennedy and Will, also Senators Hawkins, Lewis, and Priola, concerning healthcare practice transformation to support whole person health through integrated care models and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Thank you. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move House Bill 1302 on third reading, final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1302. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Shebo, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Hooton votes yes. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Caravello, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Caravello votes yes. Representative Neville, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Neville votes no. Representative Sandridge, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Sandridge votes no. Representative Williams, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Williams votes no. Representative Bockenfeld, Representative Ricks. Representative Bockenfeld? All right, please close the machine. With 43 aye votes, 20 no votes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1302 is adopted. And co-sponsors. Representative Hooton wants to co-sponsor. All right, please close the machine. And Mr. Shebo, please read the title to Senate Bill 100.
Senate Bill 100 by Senators Winter and Gardner, also Representatives Duran and Esgar, concerning changes to the Domestic Violence Fatality Review Board statutes and in connection therewith making and reducing an appropriation.
Thank you. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move Senate Bill 100 on third reading, final passage.
Members, the question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 100. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Shebo, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Hooton votes yes. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Caravello, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Caravello votes yes. Representative Neville, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Neville votes no. Representative Williams, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Williams votes no. And Representative Sandridge, how do you vote?
No.
And Representative Sandridge votes no. Please close the machine. With 51 ayes, 12 noes, and 2 excused, Senate Bill 100 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. That concludes third readings. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move to lay over the balance of the calendar until tomorrow, April 12th.
Seeing no objections, the balance of the calendar will be laid over to tomorrow, April 12th. Oh. Announcements? No. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I move House Bill 1306 back to second reading. General orders. Nothing.
Seeing no objection, House Bill 1306 will be moved back to general orders for tomorrow, April 12th. Okay, now we're at announcements and introductions, and I get to do the first announcement. Representative Exum will replace Representative McLaughlin on agriculture today. Well, it's Agriculture, Livestock, and Water Committee for today only. And Representative Pelton has an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tomorrow morning, Bible study again. See you down in the basement.
Thank you. Representative Catlin has one.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's an honor to serve with you.
Honor to serve with you as well, sir.
I'm down here today to just call out that the House staff are an incredible bunch of people. They really took over and helped with this Ute Day today, and I just wanted to give them a great shout out. Thank you very much. I won't call names because I don't want to pay the fine, but thank you so much.
Thank you for that announcement, and I wholeheartedly agree. Representative Holtorf, you were the next one up. You're just passing through. I get it. Representative McCormick. Mosine, however you do it.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I forgot to announce this morning, super exciting, in Agriculture, Livestock, and Water, we're having a presentation on agricultural technologies from a professor at CU and integrated pest management from someone from CSU. So stay tuned and listen in. See you there.
Now that is really an exciting announcement, pesticide. Representative Kennedy, you're in the well. Do you have an announcement? No? Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I think I have the best announcement of the day. The House will stand in recess until tomorrow, April 12th.
Seeing no objection, the House is in No, wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem. I got too excited to get out of here, I guess. The House will stand in recess until later today.
All right. Seeing no objection, the House will stand in recess until later today.